Okay, I think we are live, Sarah. How's
Excellent. So
everybody?
I'm so excited. I hope that this tweet goes out. I hope that everybody is here. We'll wait for a couple seconds.
Yeah, we'll start in 1 second.
Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I'm still kind of in awe of all of the wonderful things that people built, and um, I'm excited for people to get their prizes. I mean,
Honestly, it's so crazy. I can't even believe what
it's
people.
unbelievable. I mean, going over, first, second, third prizes. That's like $100,000. It's like crazy. And
Yeah,
how many?
I think one of the best parts about this kind of event is that we get to collaborate with some really significantly awesome companies who are super generous to give credits that are very, very worth it.
I was thinking about this too. How humbling it is, um, especially for we got to know some of the people that were participating pretty well, and when you think about how
Well, Sarah, you better block out your calendar because we're going to be doing builder interviews probably all week next week.
I know. I'm so excited to hear it. And you know what? I mean, when you think about how expensive it is to start a business, just in general, and especially a business that hinges so much on AI, and technology in general, and how expensive it is. Um, this is a really big deal. I mean, this displaces, you know, tens of thousands of dollars that they would have had to pay out. And for many people, this is going to be life changing, and it's huge to think about.
It was really hard though. There was the judges did say there was a lot more than we anticipated, than we thought.
Well, I can only speak for myself when it comes to like the judging process in general. I think what's so cool about the judges in general and how we all kind of coalesced is that we came together with a lot of different skill sets and a lot of different focuses. So you would have one judge that says, you know what, AR and VR are really important to me, and I can see this in that realm. Other people like myself, I'm thinking, well, how is this viable? And what kind of industry is this going to displace? Was it creative? Was it, a push in terms of how the technology was being used? And so each of us had our own kind of thought process coming to the table. And it was amazing at the variations, I can tell you, I really struggled. I struggled to pare it down. And once I got it down to like 8 or 7 people, I struggled. It was very difficult. And then, you kind of have to think through, you know, what were the criteria? That's it. You have to go back to the criteria, because it doesn't matter how cool something is if they didn't turn in all the pieces, or if they didn't dot all the I's and cross all the T's, then, it doesn't matter how cool it is. It's, did you follow the instructions, or did you do the thing? And sometimes that's the hardest part, is that you look at it and you're like, in any other circumstance, this would be very, very cool. However, you know, in order to maintain the integrity of the game, that is something that you had to think through. But I can tell you too, it was so freaking cool to see so many ideas to impact Wednesday night students sticking their neck out and actually really doing awesome. And I can't wait, because a lot of those folks are going to naturally turn in their projects to the Hatch program that we have over at DigitalOcean, with Martin, who is one of our judges as well. And I think that is so freaking cool. It's so wonderful to watch. But I'm trying to figure out how many people are actually live in the Slack channel and how many are live on Twitter before we start divulging cool stuff. Because,
Um, yeah, well, I notified everyone, so we'll give them like a second to join. But this has been so overwhelmingly cool and just overwhelming in general for us because honestly, we loved all of your projects. I mean, at least I know I did. And I think just not winning doesn't mean your project was bad. We had to distill it down to, I mean, three people to get the prizes from the vendors, and then there was a few extra prizes, totaling of eight out of over 155 people. It was it was significantly a lot. So Sarah, next time we're gonna probably make it longer, just to give people more time and give us more time, because it was way more people than expected, which is great. I think it's a great thing, right, Sarah? It's good.
Well, what was interesting too is that we had so many people on the wait list. So it was actually two whole like waves of people. So
Yeah,
you had the
exactly.
initial wave, and then you had some people that bailed, some people that just didn't get that far, some people that just got their turbo packs and left. And then there are other people that came in and they didn't come in until Wednesday. So you had these two waves of people. So in theory, there were more than, the 150 that saw it through to the end. It was a very fascinating process because a lot of times, um, well, you just don't have that kind of success rate, for lack of a better term, especially when you pull something together in under 48 hours. So, just like everybody was flying by the seat of their pants to get their projects done in the course of 7 days, you had the three of you plus your sponsors pulling together an event in 48 hours and then having such a huge response saying, yeah, I'm going to participate was unbelievable. I mean, even even the sponsors are like, "Wow, I don't even know how you pulled that off." And I think part of that is a testament to just kind of hacking your own education and being a part of a bigger ecosystem that thinks, outside of the box. And that comes from cultivating a student base for what 9 seasons now, so almost a year where people have been meeting on Wednesday nights and Thursday mornings. And then, the culmination are the natural spokes, that everybody has outside of their, sphere of influence. So it's kind of a multiplier effect. But yeah, I think it was really, really amazing to see. And it was also, like I said this before in our postmortem, I still have talked about this to a number of people in, the tech industry in general, how insanely proud I am at the behavior and the way that our participants carried themselves throughout the adversity of these 7 days. The camaraderie, the collaborations, the co-opetition, it's all of the C's, and it was very interesting to me to see how the Slack channel kind of evolved over the course of the week, and how many people were like, I don't want this to end. Can we keep it? And that was something that was very interesting to our sponsors too, is that they're like, usually people at least like bolt, they leave, not the sponsor bolt, but they just kind of bail and, done. Event is over, pack it up, clear out the playa, everybody goes home, and everybody has a little bit of dust on their shoes and probably in their eyes too. They get some sleep and then they move on to the next thing. And that simply wasn't the case in this in particular ecosystem. I think it's because people have built really, profound relationships with one another. And you can also see how, I know this sounds odd, but when we looked at all of the links and all of the projects, you could almost see how that sparring that happened in the Slack channel, how it manifested in, various, you know, apps, like, things like adding a whole entire button just for the judges, or maybe hearing one of the students or participants talk about, hey, I might be colorblind, you know um, and they think about the design of their, whole entire ecosystem or their app to accommodate people that have different needs and making those experiences speak to people at different levels. And I just thought that was really, really cool. Um, I kind of have a question because I know we talk in the background, so obviously I know a little bit about it, but the three of you went through your own journey because in addition to running the hackathon, you're also keeping the tech in schools ecosystem up and running during a very stressful time. We also had many of our participants using the various tools in tech in schools, in my AI tutor and in the machine in general. And, you have to keep that up and running too. You have to make sure that that was updated. And in the middle of our hackathon, you had a big update also, which I thought was really wild. I didn't. I don't think you guys ever slept. So I'm just curious, from the back end of it, from your point of view, how did it go for you? And in the next one, which one, when we do the next hackathon in general, what do you kind of think about how you're going to change things up or how are you going to improve things now that you've gotten this one under your belt?
I think, well, yes, we did have to push updates, that's for sure. I mean, just because there's a hackathon going on doesn't mean updates have to stop for software. But I definitely learned the structure that I like the most, and I think leaning more into the structure, making it more engaging, and then also increasing the amount of prizes by reaching out to more vendors and sponsors, which we did not have enough time to do. Well, adequate time. Obviously, I would want more time. But I think for our first one, it was actually really successful, and I'm proud of our team, and I'm proud of all the builders.
I think that's really cool too. One of the other things, Ross, you have such a powerful collaboration with lots of you know, the judges themselves. But, you brought in the turbo packs in general, very strategic items. And I know that a lot of our participants had no idea why the things that were put in the turbo pack were there until like day 5, which was hilarious to me because, they're now making, leading the breadcrumbs and connecting the dots. And they're like, oh, now I understand why, we had all of the challenges laid out and how it was designed to help folks that had never been a part of a hackathon. That is very uncommon. Hackathons don't usually leave breadcrumbs. They don't do anything other than, make sure that the Swedish fish bowl and the gummy bears and the Red Bull are well stocked. Other than that, you don't have that kind of camaraderie and participation and, help along the way. And I think that is something that's very interesting. And I also think it's something that was on a lot of people's radar that do host hackathons in terms of how to make the experience better for the people that are participating. And also, because that happened, you had people producing better outcomes and submitting better projects. And I was just curious about how that kind of came together. Did you think, well, I have all of these sponsors, here's how I'm going to do it? Or did you have a challenge and then you kind of MacGyvered and put those people into that, into the
So
queue?
that's actually a good question. I did not. They're not coincided. Basically, is the short answer. I reached out to our partners that I knew, and then partners, friends of partners. So partners connected me with other partners, and then people that I knew that maybe I wasn't using, but I am a customer of for some other reason. I reached out to, and then once I had a collection of people that had some interesting prizes, I really deeply thought about what makes a hackathon fun for me, and the camaraderie and the stress and deadlines of in person kind of doesn't exist on the internet. So you can kind of lose that when it's too long, for example, or there's no everyday reach out or some sort of interactive element. So I think leaning more into that is what I want to do, but I really focused on creating something where people were able to be together every day, have challenges that they can surpass, and it was something that was not just like start and then see you in a week. And so by doing that, it was a great way to involve our partners with a turbo pack and including them in challenges. So it's kind of reverse. But at the same time, we don't want to lock everyone to using a sponsor software either. So that's why it was also open ended in that way.
I really enjoyed the way that it kind of played out. I also enjoyed hearing the stories of very seasoned developers and engineers, computer scientists, etc., that participated that were kind of pushed out of their comfort zones too. which I thought was really awesome because, it doesn't matter what field or industry you're in, the idea of continuing education is important. So if you're a teacher, or when I was a broker, for instance, you had to have continuing education. You had to make sure that you were constantly upskilling, um, that you were adding new, you know, skills to your quiver, as they say, but also keeping updated on the newest technologies. And a lot of times that doesn't happen. In businesses in general, is that you become cemented into your role, and you become overburdened with projects of other people, that you don't really get a chance to kind of expand and learn what's out there. And that was one of the things that I just thought was so cool, is that we did have a number of engineers especially saying, wow, I had no idea what this was, and I actually had to learn on the fly. And they felt like they were in college again, or they felt like they were, in the garage building in the skunk works. And for me, that was just a solid win. I didn't care if they won or lost. I thought to myself, hey, we created an environment where they felt compelled to create and to build something, and use the things that they had, that even if they didn't know what they were. I just thought that was one of the most fun pieces, is to just see that adventure and that sense of wonder and whimsy and curiosity, being fostered in the folks that showed up. And I thought that was really interesting too. We had a lot of newbies, right? And that was one of the things the judges mentioned. They were like, what are these newbies going to do? Well, if you don't know something, you're leaning really heavily into AI and using it differently than folks that already have that lexicon and that, discipline, that chosen discipline. They chose to be computer scientists or coders or developers, or, the front end, the back end, whatever they do, the full stack. That was their chosen vocation. So, these terms felt, they knew the terrain or the landscape, for lack of a better term. But then you had these new folks coming in who didn't know the lay of the land, who were learning these things on the fly, but they were competing on the same level. It was a level playing field because you had, AI helping and assisting and collaborating and filling in the gaps. Now, did that mean that they had a better chance of it? No. If you didn't know how to code, or you didn't know what you were looking at, that's a problem too. But it was very cool to see, how our workflows as students, how we learn things, how we acquire information, knowledge, intelligence, etc., has changed so significantly. And these hackathons really do help the companies understand their customer base in a very powerful way. The things that DigitalOcean or Vercel or Daytona, they created these wonderful ecosystems and products. And then here you come in with a person that is totally foreign to them, do not know how to use it, and they're using it for something completely different. And the sponsors love that because they're looking at it going, I had no idea that this even did this. And no one's ever used it that way because, it was designed by engineers for engineers. And now you have someone that has nothing to do with engineering, might be a music teacher or something else, that is using it in a totally different way. And I think that is one of the coolest things about hackathons. And I'm glad that we're going to be doing more of them, because I do think, um, it pushes everybody forward, and in a really positive way, I think.
Yeah, the hard part is just you don't have everyone can't get first place. Everyone can't win a prize, and I that's the only part of competition I don't like. But I will tell you, competition got probably the best stuff I've ever seen out of everyone that came to class ever on any season. This week, you guys cooked, and it was really, really, really cool to see, because normally you do not go that in depth in what you're doing. So it was really exciting to see you guys produce in a way that we have never seen you create things before. And I think that's really cool, honestly, Sarah. And I know it's like
Well, it's
kind of,
definitely changed our mind in terms of how we're going to teach too. Now that we know what you're capable of, it's going to change a little bit. I'll just tell you that. Now that we know that you're
well,
capable,
that's the thing.
yep.
People did things I did not know was even possible.
Well, I thought it was really wonderful. And, I know everybody's coming in, and now we have pretty much everybody, I think, listening. Ross, I know this is going to be hard for you. Um, Earlier this evening, there were 8 emails that were sent out and certificates informing those 8 participants that they were chosen, that they had received this letter of authenticity and certification, that yeah, their projects made the cut. And we do have first, second, and third prizes, but there are some others in the wings. And so Ross is going to go over one, some of the judging criteria, but more importantly, the prizes. Up until this point, we've just kind of been mm, not as transparent in terms of the prizes, and that's for a reason. Because everybody that participated, the turbo packs were very expensive. Um, the activities, the tokens throughout the game being reallocated. We had sponsors coming out of the woodwork at the last minute offering new stuff. And we're like, well, what are we going to do with this new stuff? How are we going to allocate it? Because the prizes we had already kind of thought through, and they're big, folks. I mean, like we said in the opening minute, the top 3 prizes exceed over $100,000 worth of stuff. And to me, that's life changing, especially when you think about it. So, Ross, what can people expect? First of all, what was the criteria? Number one. Number two, um, what are the prizes? And three, what are the next steps, especially when you open up your email and you receive that certificate that says your first place, your second place, or your third place? I will make one other thing really abundantly clear, folks. Because we have people that are participating in all sorts of countries, there are some people that want to be anonymous. You don't want someone to know that you have won a big prize, that you have a very expensive API key, that you have things that can be taken away, especially since some of our winners are novice for all intents and purposes, right? And we as a team decided that the best thing to do is to say, we're going to mention some projects, and we're going to be vague, but we're going to leave the ball in your court. If you won, you received a certificate, you get to make your announcements, and then we'll back your play. We do not want to dox anybody. We don't want their real names out there if they don't want it. We don't want people around your ecosystem to know that you have significant things in your wallet. We want to make sure to protect our students and protect their livelihood. So that is something that we kind of thought about, that we know all the stories about people that win the lottery and then all the people that show up out of the woodwork wanting to help them with their winnings. And we really wanted to make sure that we thought that one through. So hopefully we did a good job. This is our first hackathon, so if we screw up anything, obviously tell us in the Slack channel so we can fix it for the next one. Was it perfect? No. Did we do an okay job? I definitely think so. I think it's really, really cool. So Ross is going to go over first and foremost what the prizes were. We'll talk about the prize winners a little bit and what the next steps are. And for those of you that want to participate in the next hackathon, that's going to also be a piece of information that Ross is going to go over. So, Ross, I'm going to let you take over and I'll fill in as necessary.
Yeah, I mean that was a really good intro, and it was truly, truly difficult to pick any of them, especially the top 3. But I'm gonna go, and we're gonna use like the name of your project, not your actual name, so you don't have to worry about that. And if your credential somehow has a misspelling of your name, you can reach out right away in Slack, and we can fix that for you. So if you've got your email and you're like, I want it to say this, you can let us know, and we'll fix it for you tonight. but I do have all the sites up, and I'm going to show them in reverse order. So not the first. These following 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people and projects, they won best in category, which was we took a bunch of people that submitted in day one, and we looked at them and we picked a few, and then we picked some categories, and then picked out of those people that we picked. So out of the 150 people that submitted on day one, we took maybe 60 of them, and it was random, and then we chose via category. So the first one, I'm going to share the screen as we go through it. And again, without saying anything, if you want to dox yourself, you can. You can say it was me. You can write a tweet. No worries. I just know some people have Twitter handles that are not their name, so we want to respect their privacy. And that's what Sarah was talking about, right, Sarah?
That is correct. And
Perfect.
if we're showing links to projects, can we make sure in the upper right-hand corner that we're not showing faces also? Because I do know that some people did put them on there, and I'm just thinking back through and hoping that that wasn't the case. You guys, seriously, these were the hardest things ever to judge, especially like what Ross just said. The top 3 or 5 were rough, and it was not because they were, they were such high quality and did really cool things, but we are trying really hard to make sure that folks, they get to reveal on their terms, that we're not dragging people out and that kind of thing. So um, Ross is going to do his best, and we'll just play along.
And the prizes that they're getting are 2 different prizes for these people. And it is from our partners and sponsors of AI Mastery from Vercel. So either they're gonna get a certain amount of money per month on the enterprise plan, which will let them experience enterprise Vercel and everything it has to offer without having to spend a dollar, which I think is pretty cool because not even I haven't even tried Vercel Enterprise. So that's really cool. And if you choose not to do that, you could sign up and you'll have a credit in Vercel. So it depends how you do it. And for this, if you're selected, all you have to do simply is shoot us a DM and we'll connect you with Vercel. So if you did win one of these prizes, reach out to us immediately or later, and we will connect you with Vercel, and they will facilitate the entire thing. Just ensure that you have an account on Vercel and you do have a team ID. You will need a team ID to claim the Vercel prize. So the first one.
Wait. One other thing.
What's
I
up?
don't want to interfere too much. You have to be in the Slack channel for the winners, right? So,
Oh yeah, wait, hold on. By DM, I meant in Slack for
yeah,
sure.
in Slack. So you are going to, the folks that have won have already been selected. You will be having an invitation to a separate Slack channel for the winners. And the winners have many layers of prizes. They have one-on-ones with these companies. They have all sorts of really amazing things. So if you know that your project is chosen, because he's going in reverse order, so you know number 5 is going first, right? Make sure you're checking your email. Make sure you're clicking the links, because if you do not, you relinquish your space. That's harsh, right? Um, just like when we had people sign up for the hackathon to begin with, that if you don't follow those specific rules, because they're not there to make things difficult, they're to make people accountable and to make our entire hackathon very transparent and auditable. That means that someone could come in and say, yep, here's an audit, here's an account of all of the prizes, here's where they went, here's how they were distributed, and this is, we have to make sure, just for the benefit of everybody here. So now Ross can go back and make his announcements.
Yes. So basically, Sarah's right. We're going to go in that order. So anyone that I will read you the prize. They're slightly different. So look out if you win which version you get. Both prizes will last for 6 months. So that's a half a year on the highest tier of Vercel's amazing platform, which I mean I think is so cool because I don't even know what that's like. I don't have that tier because it's expensive. So you guys get to try their awesome service, which I can't recommend enough. All of our applications run on Vercel.
So read the prize first.
Yep, I'm gonna read the prize first, and then the the category.
Project.
Well, the category, and then the project,
Yes.
because there's a category for each of these prizes. So, the first one is apply not for best functions. So, like the goal of this is best functions, most like rounded development. So apply not is the one that goes to, and you're going to see it on the live stream in a second. And what it does is it helps you launch your career with AI by matching you with jobs using AI. And it's really awesome. And the category that it won was for best functionality, and it wins a $200 a month for 6 months at Vercel. So, the person who created Apply Not will win 200 a month for 6 months of Vercel, which is equivalent to $1,200 at Vercel. So you can begin to host it and use Vercel in a very enterprise way. Now the next one is the same exact prize. So we're going to not say the prize again because it's the same prize. It goes to Peer City for most complete service. And I think it's really cool. It's a great idea. I love how there's skills and explanations of the models and all the creators, and it's fully functional and it looks awesome. It follows all of the challenges. By the way, you have to follow the challenges to actually be judged. So if everything you see here has passed all of the challenges from day 1 to day 5. PeerCity is an AI app that has so many settings to customize your AI experience, and I think it's really awesome. So Apply Not and PeerCity win 200 a month for 6 months. That's 1,200 a person. Is that real claps, Nick?
Very.
Real claps?
These two were so well done, and they are so hit the ground running. Instantly monetizable, really, really well done, and it was a joy to see both of these in the top 5. I really, really enjoyed these two apps. I will just tell you, it was really well done, and every single link worked. For folks that didn't realize that, we signed up for accounts, we followed every link, we did all of the things to try to break your app, and it was delightful. Both of these are very useful tools, and I can't wait to see them out in the public, in the wild, because I instantly could think of 100 people that either of these apps would totally help. I just think they were really, really well thought out, and congratulations. You deserve it. You deserve the $1,200. I hope that that money goes and expands your business, and it expands your opportunities too, because now you're a part of the Vercel family. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a great service. And if you're going to be building something new, I think there's no better place to go than Vercel to launch your next big idea. So now you get to do that. So please reach out to me in Slack and we will connect you with Vercel. Now, the prize changes slightly for the next few. So the prize is for the next 3. It's $100 a month for 6 months. So $600 a person at Vercel. So same idea, but a little bit less. So we're going to go visit all those websites that won. So give me a second. I'm just resetting situating. So the first one is Passport AI, and it's a really cool site that lets you use artificial intelligence to go back in time and learn about things that happen in the future and journey through history. And I think it's a great use case for AI, and I think it looks great. And the concept that it won for was Best AI Concept. So the category for Passport AI that it won with is Best AI Concept. And now we're going to go to the next one that won, which is, hold on.
To answer the question, these bottom five, I should say, are kind of in the honorable mention categories. They won in very specific categories, and there's two different tiers of product or prizes. So the first two that you saw have a higher prize net worth from Vercel. The one that is now being shown and the next two are kind of in a category that are honorable mentions in our top eight. And then we will go over 3, 2, 1. So you will know abundantly clear which ones are first, second, and third. So congratulations to this one too. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this app. All right, next.
Yeah, it's true. I think I wish that there were more prizes, and I'm gonna work on that, guys. So next time around, we're gonna make more prizes. We're gonna really ramp it up. Remember, this is the first one, but not the last one. So without further ado, the next one is Rank Beacon, and it won for practical use case. The idea behind Rank Beacon is utilizing AI to help your products and websites rank. And it's going to have Visual Assistant Studio and Content Strategy, and it's absolutely incredible, very well executed, has a full auth situation, and even a chatbot to get you started and intake your project. So a chatbot actually set up my project for me by asking me questions of what my goals were, where I wanted to take my business. And I think it's a great use case for AI. And this one won the same exact thing, $100 a month at Vercel for 6 months, which is $600 in credits for Vercel. Now we're going to move on to the next one in a second, so hang on. What did you think of Rank Beacon, Sarah?
I really enjoyed this one. There were so many creative uses, and it's fun too because you get to watch from the cheap seats. There were some sites that I have to just be really frank, were so promising. And then we had links go to nowhere. It was so frustrating. And so when I got to play with this one a little bit, it was such a great concept and so well done. I hope that each and every person gets a chance to play with some of these prototypes because, the thought that went into them, the idea, the problems that they were trying to solve, were just really well executed. And so, congratulations. This one was well worth it. And, I hope that $600 is multiplied. I really do. The ones that have the honorable mentions, that's $600 in your pocket, and that's $600 you don't have to spend on something else. And I just think it's really generous when you think about all of the things. I mean, it was uncanny how much folks are going to receive one way or another. But I'm also fiercely jealous because the folks that did win, that back channel is going to change lives. I will just tell you right off the bat. So continue, Ross. That was very good.
Yeah, I'm just bringing the next one up. So the next one is the final one in these categories. And this one is the category. Hold on. For AI integration. So when we saw this, this was also chosen by some judges, which is why they ended up in the honorable mention. So if you did get chosen, you would end up here. This is by real deal CPA for AI integration in property analysis, and it looks really
I
good,
love this one so much.
and it's so useful.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like fully done, but everything did work, and it looks really nice, and it really uses AI in a very interesting way that could be very useful.
Insanely useful. One of the things, okay, so when we were all judging, and one of the things that we were thinking about, we had other people helping us in the background. My husband's an accountant, so um, this one stood out to him, and I just think it was well done. I think the whole concept was really, really cool, and so I'm glad that it made it into the eight, because it was, yeah. For those of you that don't know, the judges, we made recommendations, and our sponsors are like, here's what we're looking for, and that's why these categories really matter. AI integration was a core tenet of the entire hackathon, and so using AI and having it as a core piece of your ecosystem was important. And the use of AI in this specific app was really innovative. So, congratulations! Very, very excited. I'm I'm just smiling. I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, I wish again that we had more prizes because
We're
all
gonna
these
have more
are
prizes next time.
so crazy.
So now we're on third place. Are we correct?
Yeah, in a second. Yeah,
And
I just
this
need
is
to
gonna be
focus
cool.
on help out.
So before Ross announces it, he's going to go over the prize package for for the third place, and then we will success. Go up. We'll go up to the silver level and then the gold level, and then we will talk about what that means for them, and then what the next steps are to participate in the next hackathon, which is coming down the pipeline, because um, everybody was very, very happy about how this ended and how this went through. And we are taking, all the feedback that we can get in the Slack channel. So if there's something that we can improve on too, definitely help us out, because, we want to make this bigger. We want to have a bigger prize pool. We want to be able to help change other lives also, and nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. So Ross, do you have our third place site ready?
Oh, we're actually taking a tiny intermission with Nick.
Hey,
Of course you are.
guys. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is well. Um, Thank you so much, Sarah. You're absolutely correct. To add on what you were saying, we definitely want to make sure that people, like creators and builders, one, have the right tools, right? We want to make sure you guys have access to all the best stuff. Two, that your ideas, that maybe you can actually continue working on them and refining them. These Everyone's projects came out fantastic. So really, hats off to everyone who participated, who gave it their all. It was so exciting to see every day, what everyone was struggling with, how everyone came up to bat and help provide ideas, support, encouragement. This is what a community is about, people. So we were actually really happy that this first hackathon was such a huge success, that we have all the heavy hitters in providing a variety of different prizes. Everyone's a winner, especially if you participated and you know um, were courageous enough to submit your projects and spend the entire week, even with what was going on in your daily lives. So we're so appreciative of that. Hats off to everyone. And these last honorable mentions were very tough in choosing them, because they were so good, and there were a lot of good ones. I was super ecstatic seeing how AI enabled and all the different use cases from all the different apps that were built. Everyone there, from whether it's a real estate app, or medicine, or education. this is all really great use cases on how you can build. And I think what we'll also do afterwards, whether it's tonight or maybe tomorrow, we'll actually dive deeper into how these creators built these tools. What were some of the tools they used? What were some of the challenges and obstacles people faced? And if they're actually going to continue building on top of them, because these apps were fantastic, and I definitely think everyone did a remarkable job. So I'm really excited to see what the next hackathon is going to be like. So you guys just wait, and I'll give it back to Ross before we announce these next three.
Thanks, Nick.
Drum rolls.
So, quick few things. One, the AI Mastery Slack channel is going to remain open. It will just say 2025. A new one will be created for the next version, and it'll have the date on it. This will be the first one, and it will remain here. You guys will remain connected. And everyone that is on our Slack, you guys will keep your pro account at Slack, which is amazing. We are so thankful for Slack helping us foster the community of builders and all of you guys. And I just want to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors and all of our builders. And I don't know how and the judges, because I don't know how we would have done it without all of you guys. Because without builders, there's no one to build, and without judges, no one's going to judge.
And judging was really hard, by the way. It was a struggle from everyone. Narrowing it down, even to the top 10, was very challenging. So really kudos to everyone who recommended all these awesome apps.
And I know not everyone is done 100%. That was the goal. It's to meet the challenges and continue building to get to the finish line, which is launching your product. And that takes perseverance and creativity and trials and tribulations. And that's why we designed the challenges the way we did, to mimic or emulate what we go through in developing software. Now, though it was incredibly hard, and I mean incredibly hard, to figure out these top three, I just want to congratulate everyone. And I cannot tell you enough how incredible it is to watch you actually do the thing and build. It has been truly an honor to sit at front row seat to watch you guys create magic. And it has truly inspired me and our whole team to continue to work really hard to make sure that this continues and that it's of highest quality, and that we continue to engage the community to build out whatever it is the next great thing that they want to build is. It's our jobs to foster and grow this part of you guys within this community, and we are not going to stop here. Also, Sarah, how do you want to do this? 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3?
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, man. That's the way it has to be.
Okay.
Do it the other way. It's not gonna work.
Now, I just want to say another thank you to Daytona. They are our largest prize in the AI Mastery Hackathon, and they are absolutely incredible for what they do for both the greater developer community and what we're doing right now. And I don't know if we would have got this kind of prize from any other company, but I assume hopefully we'll get that plus more. But are you people ready? This is the moment. Oh, and I have one more thing to say. Make sure that you remain active in the Slack channel, because the next thing that you guys could do, like we're going to tell you what's next, to prepare and get invited to the second one, is going to go there. So make sure you go there. And everyone that we did mention with Vercel, please reach out to me in Slack so that we can help facilitate you getting that prize. And hold on, let me pull up number 3. And number 3,
I would show both landing page and
This is the bronze medal. This is the bronze medal, folks. He's going to go over the prizes. Nick said something really important, and I just want to kind of put a fine, a bullet point behind it, is that it wasn't just the judges our sponsors, the folks that got to participate in judging these, one, it was a tremendous privilege. It was a privilege for you to entrust all of us with your great ideas and your little seeds of creations. And, it takes a lot of courage to put them out there. When Ross and Nick say we were inspired, it made all of the judges want to build. And I think that is at the core what a good hackathon does. It spurs innovation. It sparks a Promethean courtesy, that little spark that extend another person the want to build. And there is something very humbling and very human about that. That even when we're building with AI, it's the human spark that connects all of us around this little bonfire that we've created. And I can tell you there were legitimate tears seeing some of these submissions. For every submission that was mentioned in these top 8, right? You have 5 honorable mentions and whatnot. There were so many more that really inspired us. And even though they didn't win, I want to tell each and every one of you that poured your heart and soul into them, we see you and we see what you did. And I hope that you know that it's not just you that is a different person after these 7 days. We're different people too because of you and your hard work, your determination. We know how late you're staying up. We saw your vibe coding. We knew how you were struggling and you still persevered. That underdog kind of mentality is something that is so terribly addictive. When you really want to root for the underdog, when you have all of the odds stacked against you, it's that rocky moment where you're running up the stairs in Philadelphia and you've got the music in the background, the Eye of the Tiger is blowing, and you are up against all odds and you finished. So if you weren't mentioned today, just know what you did was noble, what you did was awesome. What you did is the first step in a whole new world that you've opened up for yourselves. And so we do want to make sure that you know that you're invited to the next one. And I'm just really, really proud. It was a tremendous honor, and I want to say thank you to Nick, Alisher, and Ross.
Alisher's here. Say hi.
Yes, for making me a judge, because I'm a better human, folks, for being in your presence. You made some really fantastic things. So this is the third place prize list. Ross, take it away.
Also, Alisher, would you like to say anything to them? I know you were judging and it was like a whole process. Do you have any parting words to share with all the amazing builders? We'll get back to you. So I'm on 3, right? We're going backwards?
Yep.
Okay. So the third place, before I even tell you what the service is, I'm going to tell you what they win. So third place is $200 a month for 6 months at Vercel, like the other prizes. But there's 2 other things for third place. There is Bolt for 3 months and $10,000 at Daytona in your dashboard, which is a lot of money to build your next great idea. And third place of the AI Mastery Hackathon is Meet. And it's where you can chat with agents, and you can create an agent and use real-time voice and invite your friends into that chat to have a party chat with AI and your friends in a live stream Google Meet environment. And I think that's really cool, especially for education use, but also for a myriad of a million other use cases. What do you think, Sarah?
I was stunned by this one. And, on the surface, it looks very simple. But for those of us that were feral Gen Xers and understood the importance of a party line, this one is really amazing. You know, I think of how many restaurants have games, you know, whether it's trivia, whether it's any number of things. And to have an AI in your pocket with everybody else working together, um, the entertainment value alone playing with this was so much fun. But then it hit me in terms of how important that this app is going to be, not just for school collaborative projects, but also teams at work, different kinds of projects that you're working on. The first thing that came to mind was one of my own children who works in a mine. He's a mining engineer. And to get everybody on the same page, if they screw up, people die. And so, having an AI as a part of your cohort that understands the conversation, they understand the problem that is being solved, and they understand the people at the table was really important. And so, you know, in thinking this one through, not only did they meet and exceed every single piece of the criteria, um, in which case Monday through Friday, we had everything turned in. They also had full AI integration. They met all of the requirements and everything worked flawlessly. And that was something that was difficult because we had so many different projects in various stages. And when it all came down to it, when Nick was talking, um, it was really tough because how do you judge something when they're so different? You have to stick to those core principles and the core, um, criteria that were set out. And so I just thought this was really, really well done. And I can see so many applications for it. It's functional, it's wonderful, it's well thought out, and it's well executed. And I could not be more proud of this person. And I am exceedingly happy that they are going to have, over $12,000 worth of stuff and more behind the scenes when they get to have those private
Yeah,
chats.
I mean, one thing that's
It's really
interesting,
important.
you can use something like that, like from Daytona. That's enough money to build like using Python and an agent, like an sentiment analysis of your meeting. And that's a cool use case. Whether you use it for this or not, I think this person is going to be set up to build with Daytona and make some meaningful applications because that's a substantial amount of credits, to be honest.
Well, the other thing too is that, Nicola from Daytona spent time with our community for a reason. You know, when you win something like this, it's not just a blank check here, you've won a big prize. It's you've become a part of the family. You've become a part of the ecosystem. And you have at your disposal a lot of wonderful people who have incredible in-depth experience with the product that you're playing with. And for me, I looked at that and I thought, this is more than just an incubator. It's more than just offsetting, a huge expense in your business. It's also getting access to the most brilliant minds that are going to maximize your prize. And that is what I thought was really, really cool. So I do hope that people who did win, my secret hope is that you do set it out into the wild and let your cohorts and folks in Slack play with what you've built because you're only seeing a certain little piece of this on the live stream, but I can tell you it's so much fun to go into somebody's world and see what they built and just take the time to kind of explore and think about all of the details because these top three included details that were just so well done and thought through. And so congratulations, you earned it. Bronze prize. Go on to greatness. I can't wait to see what you build.
And I would just add one thing, that for this person who is responsible for this amazing app, check your email. You have a new credential, which is specifically third place.
You can do certificate. I love this so much. Everybody's going to be opening up their email. No, you can't open up your email until your page is on the screen. which is wonderful.
And yeah, these credentials are published both on the internet and the blockchain forever. And we partnered with a Credible to make this happen, to allow you guys to have things that are verifiable that you did compete and you did win.
And if you want to learn how to take your credentials that you have in your email, and you can either ask myself or El Theo, we can put them on the permaweb via Arweave. You will want to have your own document files. So this is kind of different. Once you have a certificate or you have your own credentials, we would like you to have your own data sovereignty, which means you get to open up your own R drive where you can accumulate all of these wonderful credentials, and that way they don't disappear. They'll be there for 200 years or more. So you will reach out to either LPO or I in the background, and we can take that to the next step for you.
Yeah, that's great, Sarah. And I also will say, keep your credentials that you get, whether you're in the top 8 or the top 3. These are great things to use when applying for jobs. And there's a way to add it to LinkedIn, which is pretty awesome. Now, who is freaking out? Because now we're only up to 2 and 1. And anyone who knows the numbers can already start to deduce. But there is 2 more. So we're going to do second place right now. Are you ready for second place, Sarah?
Of course I am. I would be pounding on the table, but the dogs are quiet. So we're not going to, cause any undue noise. But I am very excited for second place. And why don't you read the prizes first and then put the winning.
Yeah, we're going to do that, the same exact thing. So
Yes. They're driving me nuts in the background. They're like, can you hurry them up? And in this case, I can't, guys. It's one of those things. They want to make sure that everybody is aware and they get their chance to soak up the sun and the flowers of winning. So there it is.
Also, definitely reach out to LTO on X, and he could definitely help you on getting your certificate into Arweave.
That is also really important, guys. I know that I kind of glossed over that one, but just like LinkedIn can take your credentials that Ross is sending you in your email, they are, that is your living, breathing transcript. And that is one of the reasons why being a part of a hackathon is important. So, and if you didn't receive one of those top 8 certificates, I would hazard a guess that you are definitely going to get a participation of some sort, documentation eventually. But we want to make sure that folks understand the importance of making sure that you don't have to rely on somebody else to keep your credentials in order. It used to be like if you graduated from high school, you had your certificate of your diploma is on parchment and you're never allowed to, access it. You have to buy your own credentials from this company. And now with the blockchain technology, you don't have to have an accessory. You have a peer-to-peer, they have extended, Nick Alisher and Ross from Tech in Schools has extended a certificate to you that is on the blockchain, and you get to receive that. And I think that's really special. So, and it's very important in the age of AI, right? Proof of human. So, all right, are we ready for the Silver Place Award?
We are. So hang on 1 second. So okay. So second place is a very interesting spot because it was voted pretty much number 2 by many judges. And the prizes are starting from the bottom of the prizes. So you're going to get 6 months of one of our last minute sponsors, Pieces. So their company is called Active Pieces, and you will get 6 months of Active Pieces, which is pretty awesome for automation using AI. You'll also get 6 months of cPanel and hosting, where you'll be able to publish whatever websites you want and create whatever you want to create on cPanel attached to a VPS at DigitalOcean. In addition, it comes with Bolt for 6 months
For free.
and Vercel, $200 a month for 6 months, which is $1,200 a person. So in total, 6 months of active pieces, 6 months of cPanel web hosting, 6 months of Bolt, Vercel, $200 a month for 6 months, and lastly, $20,000 in credits at Daytona, which is an insane amount to build your next big AI service. And you'll be able to unleash the power of smart, capable agents on Daytona inside your amazing app. And the app that wins second place is called Vital Matrix, and it looks like this. And the idea behind it is you're uploading the things you're eating using either the NutriLens, which is a barcode scanner, or AI Vision, which will start up your camera and use AI models to look at what you're eating. Then it will take this information, put it into your eating and nutrition goals, your AI health insights about what you're consuming, and will also show you your nutrition score, your health score. It'll have facility visits, nutrition scans, and nutrition streaks. And it'll let you find healthcare providers in your area, which is absolutely awesome. Can you imagine all of this in 1 week? And also, the design is insane.
Yes. This was so freaking well done. And what is so powerful about this is that you can actually feed your own biometrics. So if you have your blood types and you have all of your blood tests and things like that, it really does serve as almost a virtual physician's assistant. And for folks that have a lot of time, a hard time making appointments with all of the doctors that you go to visit your doctor and you have insurance, and then they send you to all the specialists and everything else. This was just something that was so well done. And for people that have, dietary needs or dietary goals, whether it's lowering your blood pressure, whether it's lowering your blood sugars, whether it's getting off of diabetes drugs, whether it's, any number of, you've had a heart attack and you have to have the DASH diet. You have all of the different, parameters. And because of the way that they embedded AI, it's so well done. And the fact that it's HIPAA compliant, that they did all of the necessary pieces and they thought about the whole entire experience, or journey a patient would have to take, from their doctor to how do I manage my own health and be my own advocate. No one's going to care about your health like you do. And one of the criteria for the game in general was, one of the overarching pieces was healthcare. Healthcare and education are by far the biggest industries or sectors for AI. And you can tell that this person put not just time, energy, effort, but was meticulous in thinking through the entire journey of the patient and how to have the best outcomes. And I just thought it was so well done. Congratulations. I would love to use this app permanently in my own world.
You know what's crazy, Sarah? Look at the scanner. Look at the UI and UX.
I know. I had so much.
Look at that awesomeness.
I know, right? It's and the fun thing too is that they used all different methods of scraping that data.
Also, Sarah, did you peep Intercom?
Yeah, I did. And what's really cool about this
So awesome.
is that you can use it and embed your Raspberry Pi AI camera. So if you had the ability, you could retrofit something and have it at your, you don't have to use your phone. You can use, your own private data store too. I mean, the way that it was applicable, I just thought was so well done. And one of the other things that I think is really interesting about this specific app also is that it could be very easily embedded with emerging technology, whether it's meta glasses, some of the other products that are coming down the pipeline, where you have a wearable, and this could be integrated in those wearables fairly easily. You could have wearable tech, various
Sarah,
monitors.
you want to hear something crazy or see something crazy? Look at this.
Of course.
There's API, so you can use this service in your service.
I just thought it was really well
And
done.
he used Mintlify to add docs, which is so cool.
Well, just to drive home the point, everything worked on this site. you know, we had so much fun clicking links and just going on.
We were floored when we saw this, where he put all the sponsors. It was really nice.
It was a very good touch. It was a very good touch, and that was something else that I think that Robert Scoble had mentioned too. He gave a lot of really good feedback in terms of how to improve and take your submissions up a notch. This was a prime example of that, and that was even before, anybody gave any suggestions. It was just really well done. It thanked the sponsors. It made sure to highlight how they were used and everything. And I really thought it was awesome. So, like I said, it was very difficult. It was very difficult to choose because, you know, you would pick one and say, this is my very favorite. And then the next day you're like, wow, I'm really thinking about this other one, because they're so diverse in what services they're offering and also the innovation that they had embedded. So I don't know. I just think this is great. And it was really, really well done. And the proofs of human are all over the place in this specimen, put it that way.
Yeah, I think it was a really great job by the builder who made this. I was truly inspired by all the projects, and this one there was special attention to detail on how it looked and how it worked.
I mean, the branding is on point. The font type style, the light and dark mode.
Hold on.
App.
Now continue.
Oh,
I hit the wrong button.
The branding was on point. The UI, having light mode and dark mode, was fantastic. The font style was awesome, and even the wording was, well worded and very well articulated. And adding the docs is a bonus. Having the full AI functionality working once you logged in, that is what gets you to the top.
And it worked on mobile. That was the other thing. Is
Yes,
that it was flawless.
responsiveness is super useful, because one day you might be in an elevator somewhere and you're pitching your idea to an investor and they take out their phone. They're gonna want to see it, you want to have that opportunity to showcase your app working properly in real time, in those short minutes that you have. So really, job well done.
It was fantastic. You know what? The sponsors too, when they look at this and they see their product in action, it makes them shine too. So yeah, it was really fantastic.
And
Well
we
done.
hope that the builder of this website continues to build and uses.
I want to see the next thing that they're going to build, because you know what? This was so choice, man. And I kept thinking about it. I thought, I know they built this specifically because of the challenge itself, but they upped their game. And I can't wait to see what else they built, because this was and this was in a week. This is the other thing too. This was not something that they had been noodling around in the background. It was, we're going to start this and end this in 7 days. And I don't even think this person slept. I mean, it was just so well done.
Yeah, and I commend this builder for putting in the work on the design. I feel like design is important too, and so is function, and this builder understood that.
And the attention to detail, it was imperative.
It's true. Now, I hope this builder takes their prizes, including the $20,000 at Daytona, and builds something truly incredible. And give me 1 second. I'm queuing up the first place winner. First of all, this is crazy that we have a first place winner for our first hackathon, and it absolutely blew me out of the water. It's pretty crazy. This implementation was very, very, very well implemented, well thought out. It looks so crazy, and it works. And I think it's in perfect timing for where we're at right now, which in my head is just agents, agents, agents. So the first place winner is going to get, starting from the bottom, No Spoon Credits, which is an agentic video generator. So imagine you can give an idea, and No Spoon can create a short clip for you that's much longer than 8 seconds using agents. You're going to get credits on No Spoon, and we'll explain how to do all that. Just reach out in Slack for all prizes. Slack is where to go. You're going to get 1 month of Pixio plus credits. You're going to get 1 month of AI Tutor Premium plus AI Tutor credits for the AI Tutor API. You're going to get $500 at Protea, which is image inference. You're going to get 2 months at Machine, which is another product, which is incredible. So wait till you try Machine. You're going to get $200 a month for 6 months at Vercel. You're going to get Pieces for 1 year. You're going to get cPanel for 1 year. You're going to get Bolt for 1 year. And finally, you're going to get $30,000 of credits at Daytona to make your agents run wild and be capable and be connected to machines. And so the number one first place of the first ever AI Mastery Hackathon is Data Matrix, Gibberlink,
Or Gibberlink.
And you're seeing it right now. Look at the dashboard. Look at how you can create agents and deploy agents.
And they're in the chat. You can hear their excitement.
They're here, freaking out in the chat. You can get credits. We're already on a pro plan, which was awesome.
And this was master class, people. This was full-fledged, surpassing every challenge. It looks great. It works great. Job well done.
It just is so incredible. And you can create and deploy agents, manage your agents, have all your credits. And I love the login. I love the whole feel. It's very well done in UX and UI, very well thought about.
Very futuristic,
very
cyberpunk-esque.
The idea is awesome. And you can probably figure out who this person is by the chat, but we will not dox them. But honestly, incredible job to this builder. This is wild, and I'm so excited for you because $30,000 at Daytona plus all the other stuff is wild. And you'll be able to claim most of the credits tonight outside of a few things. It might take Monday or Tuesday. Reach out to us on Slack. We will connect you with all of the prizes that you need to get. Do not forget to reach out to us on Slack if you want anything. But this is truly an amazing implementation, from authentication to actually using the app, to it working, to being fully fledged out. I think it's incredible, and I love the direction, and I love the plugins that let you actually configure plugins
and the
once you make
API docs.
agents. The API docs are crazy. There's so much here. And I think that this is really amazing. And I can't believe that you took this hackathon and even a day late were able to execute and actually pull off something jaw dropping. And so it was a tough choice, but I think all of the winners and all the builders are amazing. But of course, we do have to narrow it down to the top three and then the top eight. And I think this one is incredible. What do you think, Sarah?
Well, when you look at all of these, well, one, I have to say, this person was on the wait list and then came in late. And one of the things that's very powerful about this app, and the reason I'm saying this is for the next one, it taps in to our collective zeitgeist. Immediately when you log in, the moment you think of the Matrix. It comes across your face right in front of you, and you're thinking, wow, this really feels like the Matrix. This feels like that branding. It immediately associates you right away with a Mr. Smith. You know exactly that it's for an agent. You know exactly what it's about. And once you have that total immersive environment, so every single person that looked at this when it came across our desk, it was like, man, this is so well done. It was so, it's not just cyber punk, it's taking a cultural, icon. The Matrix, everybody knows the Matrix, right? And they understand the whole premise of an agent and the mystique of it. But then when you go through, every single link works. Every single piece of this was so well done and well, thought through and put together that it was such an experience to look at it. Just take aside how useful it is, right? The whole entire functionality of it, how you're going to use it, what you're going to use it for. That you put that in a little bucket off to the side. The very first thing you look at is what it comes across as. Is it ease of use? Is it self-explanatory? Do people know what they're going to do with it? All of these different pieces. And I was just really excited too because I obviously can't dox this person, but what was so fascinating is this person participated the entire time. The minute that they were allowed in and knocked on the door, they were all in. They were at every space. They asked lots of questions. They were, kind of immersed in the environment. But not only that, in real time, because when I looked at the final product, I could see the conversations that had happened. This person was taking real time feedback and immediately putting it into the app. He was taking, hearing what other people were saying and being very pliable and moldable to make the experience useful and functional to every single person that played with it. And it was just the functionality, like I said, it's flawless. It was flawless to begin with. It stood above everybody. And it was really hard to choose because, like I said, you looked at number two, right? The silver medalist. And very different applications, very different services that they are providing. Both of them incredibly well done, well orchestrated. The architecture is perfect. Um, the logic that was involved, everything else. And I just look at it and I think to myself, they probably already have Daytona, which means they get that 30,000 in their account and it's a credit against it or however it works. But it's like I can see all three of our top winners, their lives being changed because I can't wait for Daytona to see this. I mean, they were watching behind the scenes and to have a one-on-one because all of these folks get to have one-on-ones with the folks that are our sponsors, and they have an ability to change their stars, truly. When you create something that is this flawless and makes everybody look like superstars, it's just great. But I do think that very smart in terms of how they tapped into making instant rapport. There was an instant rapport with everybody that opened it up. They knew exactly what world they were in. They knew who they were dealing with, and there's just a cool factor about it. It was like, ooh. So I'm excited for this person, and I wish I could give each of our winners, our honorary mentions, giant tackle hugs, and to all of our participants. It was such a pleasure. It was such a pleasure to serve in this capacity, to judge your work, but also to be present during your journey. And it was a tremendous privilege. And to see this kind of caliber of work, um, it's just really, really overwhelming and special because it speaks highly of the ecosystem that we're in and the kind of people that it draws. Not just how fantastic our sponsors are, but how fantastic our participants are and how seriously they took their their assignment. And this one, he knew the assignment and he knocked the ball out of the park. It was awesome. What
Yeah,
about
it's insane. Honestly, it's so well executed.
I've never heard you guys shut up and just say, "Oh my God, I didn't know you could do that," and just hear that silence. It just kind of hangs there. Ross is like, "Oh, did you see that?" And then, you know, I thought it was great. This is great.
Yeah, I think it's really insane that what you can do in just a short amount of time, and now this builder has the opportunity to really next level what they're doing because now they actually have the infrastructure to pull this off. So I know from what I know with Daytona and how incredible they are that this builder could for sure use Daytona to augment and change how their AI agents are being deployed to the point that each agent can have a full sandbox that's connected and capable and that could run software and run computational and provide graphs. And I think this builder really is going to have that opportunity. Just like second place and third place, all three of those builders are going to have a huge opportunity to build with Daytona. And I strongly recommend that they take this opportunity. And I'm really, really excited for what they do next. And I can't wait to watch in the, as Sarah says, the cheap seats. And please reach out to us in Slack regarding your prizes, or we can't give you the prizes because that's how we're distributing them. So please head over to Slack after this live stream ends. And also, you also got an email about an after party happening in about 15 minutes on Spaces. You're all invited, no cover. And we want to talk about anything and everything related to the hackathon, kind of chat a little bit with our team. And we're really excited to actually hear your voices and chat with you, unlike this live stream where it's just me and Sarah. Although Sarah's great, it'd be nice to hear all of you. So we're going to do that right after this. And remember, all of you are amazing, unique, capable, and creative, and special. And we loved all of the things that you guys built. We just had the worst job in the whole entire world, which was choose 8. And people stayed up for a long time. And then people like Nick took a long, long time and had phases and rounds. He took it very, very seriously. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, I had 4 rounds. I had to narrow down people, and I had to really make sure that the top 3, top 8 really deserve to be there in completing the challenges and making sure that they themselves went onto their own app and tried it as a user. That flow is so imperative in making sure that everything works smoothly, that your auth was all handled. You were able to actually log in, try the tool out, and I had to really make sure that I can hope that from 100 plus applicants that I can actually narrow down to at least 10 that really spent the time, thought about the fine detail, and making sure that everything was very well thought out, and the ideas were, of course, fantastic, but it's also about the execution and making sure that you were actually practical, that your design was impeccable, that your app actually served the purpose that it was intended. So it was definitely, quite a ride for me. And Ross was out there hounding me down, pretty much making sure that I get to to my top three, my selection, and it was very difficult. I spent days. I had to make sure that I had to, go on every single landing page and every single app and make sure I could log in and make sure, there's either any issues or problems. And I saw a few, and I definitely, that's where I want to really spend some time and maybe critique it in a live manner so that people can actually see what they did wrong. I think that really will help people in seeing whether it was not configuring their auth and not, because that was sometimes an issue. And then there was, maybe not having the right choice of colors in their design. It was definitely, an issue for some people. And then some people had wonderful design, but no use case of AI. And that was really vital, right? We wanted to make sure that everyone's app had some form of AI capabilities. And that's really, that's really important in getting down to the top 10. But we're really excited and very happy for all the winners. So
It's true.
Really good job. Awesome work.
And what I will say is, I know a lot of you, this was your first ever hackathon, and we're so excited that you chose to do it with AI Mastery. And we are excited for you to come to the next one. And I loved all of the submissions. And those of you who I actually know, who we spoke before, and you verbally told me that it's your first hackathon ever, I am so very proud of each and every one of you, because it is no easy feat to work for 5 days on one thing and complete it. It's difficult, and it's something you should be proud of, and something you should understand that you can do. And I think that the next time we do this, you'll be even better prepared. And also, to the first place winner, without doxing you, I think it's insane that you were on a wait list, came in late, and still hit the ball out of the park. Isn't that crazy, Sarah? A day and a half late.
It was so funny because, well, I don't want to dox, but I will tell you one of the spaces, hearing this person speak, and it was so special. I mean, you just knew that they were building something cool. And humans really do. They build the coolest things, and especially when they have a good heart and, a heart for other people too. It just makes that win a little bit sweeter. It's always fun when someone that has that good soul also wins. And in this case, it just, the stars were aligned. And, you know, you are a product of the people that you hang around. And the whole ecosystem around this winner are just really, really fantastic people. And so it was well deserved, it was well earned. And it is a testament of human ingenuity, determination, grit, discipline, and just stick to itiveness, for lack of a better term. It is everything that folks aspire to be. And this achievement is well deserved, well earned. And I can't wait to see the next thing that this person builds, because it's just so cool. It's
Also,
so
Sarah, thank you for being here every single day, all the time.
It's my pleasure.
You were the official MC for the AI Mastery Hackathon.
Yeah, you know what? I was voluntold. I would never want to be in anywhere else. There are so many fantastic people, and like I said, it was a great privilege. And so I think some of the most inspiring things are when you're in this role, and because you get to hear people, talk to people, and you get a bigger picture, of the whole entire ecosystem from a 40,000 view, I suppose. But I'm just really proud. And I know that our sponsors are insanely proud. They are just smiling ear to ear. There was no drama. There was just really awesome people. And the camaraderie, and I said this 1,000 times, I'll say it 1,000 times more. Um, you're competing against each other, yes. But the co-opetition that occurred here was nothing short of gracious professionalism. That's a term that was coined in FIRST Robotics by Dean Kamen and Woody Flowers. And these are MIT grads, incredible innovators, incredible just minds. And there's something that's really powerful that happens when you play in a mutual sandbox. And that's what happened over the last 7 days. And there were a lot of tears spent. There were a lot of swear words thrown out into the universe. There was a lot of, hair pulling and trying to figure this out. But I do think that humans are resilient in that respect. And when you're put through that crucible, when you're put through the fire and you are literally pounded, your steel is so sharp and it is so, ready for whatever. And I just am really, really proud of the folks that showed up. You showed up for us, yes, but you showed up for yourself. And win, lose, or draw, each and every one of you should be holding your head up high because there was not any bad submissions. That was the other thing that we were talking about behind the scenes. Every single person that submitted did the best to their ability. Was it, the same kind of caliber all along? It was the best of their ability at that particular time on this spot in the timeline of history. And I do hope that each and every one of you, participants from tip to toe, document your journey because these are living, breathing transcripts. And like I said, these certificates matter. They do stack up. And employers don't care about your credentials necessarily in terms of what grade point average you had or whatever. They want to see you building things in the wild. They want to see you participating in the wild with other people. They want to see your collaborations because they're very powerful connections. It is the next currency. They're not hiring you, because of a diploma. They're hiring you because of your ecosystem that comes with you. And you are surrounded by other doers in this event. Everybody that showed up in those Slack every day, these are the kind of people you want to be around. You want to be around those builders and those doers because it's contagious. It's really, really awesome. So I do hope that each of you take the next step, document your journey, make sure that you're hooking up with some of the judges, specifically LTO, making sure that you take those documents, you learned how to document your journey, make sure you're putting it on a permaweb. And if you don't know what that is, you need to know because, these are the kinds of things. If you're deplatformed, let's say LinkedIn decides they don't want to have you, then you want to make sure that you have those credentials and that no one can take them away from you ever because you earned them. So, make sure you document your whole entire process, all of your submissions, and don't rely on us to keep them. This is your journey. You get to choose your own adventure and take ownership of that data. It's really important. So
it's true. And before we end, I have two things, and then I want to see all of you in our after party space, and I want to talk to you and hang out for a little bit. No pressure with hackathon and all that because our team has been just crazy for the last week and a half. But I definitely do want to take a moment and thank Robert Scoble, Sarah, obviously, Leo Gordon from the UFT, and Martin from DigitalOcean, and Ludovic from the world. He's just from the world, and he's incredible. And Kiri
he's
from
from Amazon.
and No Spoon, and LTO from Arweave, and also just the world, because he's everywhere. And we really appreciate you guys. This can't happen without amazing judges. One. And also, just so you guys know, it was Sarah's idea to do the credentials, and I loved the idea so much that I fully 100% did it. And I just want to share with you that great things definitely do come out of people working together. There's no higher power than humans working together, and I think that's incredible. And when people come together for a cause, to do something, to prove something, to say something, it can be quite powerful. And so just like how Sarah told me about credentials and you all loved that we partnered with Incredible, I mean, I do. I just think all of you are also part of this, because without all of you working together to build something awesome, this is not as awesome. So the last thing that you'll hear from me at our AI Mastery Hackathon finale is thank you, because none of this is possible without you guys. And I appreciate all of the work you guys put in. And we're going to work 10 times as hard for the next one to make the experience 10 times better. Not that it was bad now, but there's always room to be better. And because of all of our collaboration together across the planet, by the way, because it's not just America, we were able to pull off something great. So from our team, thank you so much for making this the best hackathon ever. And we really, really appreciate it. And also thanks again, Sarah. This is really, we couldn't do this without you.
I'm clapping silently because I don't have any emojis at the bottom of this live stream. I don't get any of my cool, like any soundboard or anything else, but I am clapping one-handed because I still can't move my
And I hope that you're not too tired and you stop by our space.
I am going to go by there. Yes, I have to make sure that the dogs go out and everything else, but go on to greatness, folks. I hope that your weekend shines for you. If it's time to go to bed, hope all your good dreams catch you. If your day is just starting, I hope that it treats you kindly. And I do want to see everybody in the after party, because then we can hear your voices. We can actually hear from the winners who want to choose to say awesome. For all the people that want to talk about their experience, we want to hear from you, because those are important things. And of course, the space is probably going to be recorded. So, I will not censor language.
It will be recorded, and
but try to keep good. But if you have the hoots and hollers and pull out the Queen Mother, then
yeah, you're fine. And again, the space will start in about 5 minutes.
Yep,
and we hope to see you all there. And thanks again for making this the greatest hackathon we've ever put on.
See y'all later.